Hey, first graders. Today we are going to be talking about the final founding father. We talked about George Washington. We've talked about Benjamin Franklin. So thinking about those two people, who do you think today's story is going to be about? Let's see if you're right. Today's story is called Building a Nation with Words and Ideas. Our learning objectives for today are to describe the contributions of Benjamin Franklin and describe the contributions of Thomas Jefferson. Okay, we are going to demonstrate an understanding of the word anniversary, and then we are going to describe or act out contributions of Thomas Jefferson. Our key vocabulary today are anniversary, architecture, domed, and university. Anniversary. An anniversary is a date that is celebrated every year. My parents celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary yesterday. Architecture. Architecture is the design and construction of buildings. The architecture of Monticello included a domed roof. Domed is an adjective, and it means rounded roof or ceiling, okay? If you look at this, that is domed, okay? Think about it as half of a sphere, okay? Sports arenas often have domed roofs. University. Hey, this is Miss Van Wert's university. This is the university that Miss Van Wert went to. A university is a school attended after high school. It's like a college, okay? My cousin is studying at the university to be a scientist. We are going to go over what we've already learned, okay? And then we are also going to talk about some really important background information for you to understand what we're talking about in our story today. So, what kinds of things did Benjamin Franklin include in his Poor Richard's Almanac? Weather, calendar, important sayings, the sunrise and set times. How would you describe Benjamin Franklin? Wise, well-traveled, right? Because he traveled all around the world. What else? Very clever. Inventive, okay? He's a very smart dude. Okay, name some things that Benjamin Franklin invented. Bifocals, the electricity rod, a rocking chair, a fireplace, swimming flippers, right? How do you know that Benjamin Franklin was well-liked and admired? How did you know that a lot of people loved him? Because so many people went to his funeral, right? A lot of people went to his funeral. The most that they had ever had attend a funeral in Philadelphia at that point. I want you to name a saying that we learned that Franklin used to say. Never leave until tomorrow what you can do today. And it just means you shouldn't put things off. You should just, if you can do it today, do it today, because otherwise you're just going to make yourself have more work on another day. So today we are going to learn more about Thomas Jefferson and his home, Monticello. Jefferson is called the father of American architecture. Okay, remember, architecture is the building and construction of, the designing and construction of buildings. Okay, I want you to say that word with me 3 times. Architecture. 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 What does the word architecture mean? The designing and constructing of buildings. I want you to look out the window of your house. I just want you to look around and see what kind of buildings do you see. If I look out, I see people's homes. I see a church. Okay, those are some buildings that I can see if I were to look out my window. Okay. Do all of those buildings look the same? No. So Thomas Jefferson loved architecture so much that he designed his own home, Monticello. Okay, he also worked on the design of Washington, D.C. Okay, so remember our key vocabulary. We've got anniversary, architecture, domed, and university. All right. Thomas Jefferson is remembered as the author of the Declaration of Independence. He is also remembered for other reasons. Listen carefully to learn about Thomas Jefferson's contributions. Benjamin Franklin enjoyed the company of another patriot, Thomas Jefferson from Virginia. Jefferson was often the youngest person in the room when the founders met in Philadelphia, whereas Franklin was often the oldest. Like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson was always ready to serve his country, but the place he loved most was at home with his family. When Thomas Jefferson was a young lawyer, he started building a house close to the farm where he grew up in Virginia. Built on a hill, he named it Monticello, which means little mountain in Italian. He worked on it for many years, before, during, and after the war. This picture shows present day Monticello. Okay, this is what it looks like today if you were going to go visit it. Jefferson traveled in Europe and brought back many ideas from France and Italy. Because of Monticello and some other buildings he designed, Thomas Jefferson, excuse me, is called the father of American architecture. In fact, Jefferson was one of the people who worked on the design of Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Like Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson liked to invent things. For his house, he invented a pulley system that opened doors and a mechanical clock that kept track of the days of the week. He also invented a dumbwaiter, a shelf that could be piled high with food, dishes, raised from the kitchen downstairs up to the dining room, then lowered back down with empty dishes when the meal was over. Thomas Jefferson was one of the most important writers in the colonies. Remember, he was the author of the Declaration of Independence. Because he wrote so many important papers and letters, he wanted to be able to make copies of them for himself. So, Jefferson bought a copy machine from his friend Charles Wilson Peale. It was one of the first copy machines ever made. As Jefferson wrote at his desk, a second pen was automatically writing the same thing beside him. You see this picture? So, if he was writing with this one would write at the same time that he was writing. Okay, pretty cool. So he could continue his work away from home. Thomas Jefferson invented a lap desk that he could carry with him on horseback that could hold all of his paperwork and office tools. So this is very similar to carrying a backpack or using a laptop computer. After the Constitutional Convention and the election of George Washington as the country's first president, Thomas Jefferson returned to Virginia to work on Monticello. When he was not at Monticello, often he was off representing his country, sharing his ideas both in America and in Europe. George Washington served as President of the United States for 8 years. When he retired to Mount Vernon, another one of the founding fathers, named John Adams, took his place, becoming America's second president. Thomas Jefferson became John Adams' vice president. A vice president is someone who is second in command to the president. 4 years later, Thomas Jefferson became our nation's third president. In the 8 years that he was president, he did many things to help the young nation grow. So we had George Washington, who we've talked about. And then, so he was the first president. Then John Adams, who we've not actually talked about John Adams yet. Okay. He was the second president. And then Thomas Jefferson became our third president. Okay. One of the things that Thomas Jefferson believed in most was public education. He realized how fortunate he had been, having the chance to attend excellent schools all his life, but he knew that not everybody could afford to do so. Perhaps Jefferson's greatest project was planning for a public college in his state of Virginia. A public school is one that is funded or paid with the people's tax money. A college or university is a place to continue studying after high school. He designed the buildings, chose the subjects to be taught, and raised money to build the University of Virginia. The university was built on a friend's farm just down the hill from Monticello so that Jefferson could watch it being built. Okay. Do you notice anything that's similar between this building, which is part of the University of Virginia, which Miss Van Wert has been there many times? It's really cool on the inside, especially the dome ceiling. And this, do these look similar? So here's Monticello. Take a good look. Now here's the college. Do you see anything that seems similar? There are a lot of similarities. Let's see. We've got pillars and this triangular top and then a dome behind it. Okay, very similar. Pillars, triangular top, dome behind. Thomas Jefferson died on the afternoon of July 4th, 1826, just hours before the death of his friend, John Adams. The second and third presidents of the United States of America died on the 15th anniversary of Independence Day. Okay, so remember, an anniversary is celebrated every year, just like your birthday. So on the anniversary of our country being born or being founded or the Declaration of Independence, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died on the 15th anniversary. Like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson is remembered in many ways today. Some of our nickels or 5-cent coins have a picture of Jefferson on one side of them and a picture of a domed building on the other. Okay, do you see the domed building? That is Monticello. That's his home. And then this is a picture of Thomas Jefferson. Okay. All right. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Did Thomas Jefferson help design Washington, D.C. and his own home, Monticello? Yes. Did he lead the Continental Army? No. That was George Washington. Did he found the University of Virginia? Yes, he did. Did he serve as President of the United States? He did. What important job did Thomas Jefferson have that George Washington also had a few years before him? President of the United States. Jefferson is called the father of American architecture. What kind of things did he design? Washington, D.C., his home Monticello, and the University of Virginia. You learned that both George Washington and Thomas Jefferson are pictured on some United States money. Do you think that money is a good place to put the faces of people we want to remember? Why or why not? This is your opinion, so you can have a different one than me. But my opinion is that I think it is a great way because everybody uses money, right? Everybody sees those coins. Alrighty. What were some of Thomas Jefferson's inventions? What were some of the things that he invented? The dumbwaiter, pulley systems for doors, a lap desk, a mechanical clock that kept track of the days of the week. That's pretty cool. Okay, why did he want free or public education? Because he valued education, right? He thought that it was really important that everybody can get an education, that everybody can learn. Okay, that's why he designed the University of Virginia. What was the most interesting thing that you learned about Thomas Jefferson today? What do you think is the most interesting? Remember, this is your opinion, so it does not have to be the same as mine. My favorite thing about him is that he wanted everybody to be able to be educated. That's my favorite thing. Okay, time for word work. In the read aloud, you heard the second and third presidents of the United States of America died on the 15th anniversary of Independence Day. Can you say the word anniversary with me? Anniversary. Can you say it like it's the anniversary of your birth? Anniversary! It's my birthday! I'd be excited if it was my birthday, so you gotta say it in an excited voice. Anniversary! It's my birthday! Okay. An anniversary is an important date that you remember on the same day each year. Okay. I want you to think of an anniversary that you might celebrate. All right. So, let's see. We already answered all those questions. Okay, let's make sure we have hit all of our learning objectives today. Did we describe some of the contributions of Benjamin Franklin? Mm-hmm. Did we describe some of the contributions of Thomas Jefferson? Did we demonstrate an understanding of the word anniversary? Absolutely. And for your assignment, you are going to describe or act out a contribution of Thomas Jefferson. Awesome job, guys. I will see you next time.